Welcome to the motherfucking lady. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. The latest from King's Promotions, who said, "At King's Promotions, we invest in fighters that we believe in and build long-term. That's why we're excited to announce Nayeli Rodriguez has signed a multi-year contract with KP. More structure, more opportunity, more moments. Stay locked in. More coming soon." Nayeli Rodriguez, reacting to the news, said, "Excited for what's to come." For those not familiar with King's Promotions, they've actually been around a long while. A well-to-do, albeit smaller promotional outfit. It's been doing their own shows a long time, promoting fighters, and now they're going to be promoting Nayeli Rodriguez. Sports professional record at 6 wins with 1 loss and 1 draw. No recorded knockouts, having never been knocked out in 8 professional bouts, coming right off her first professional loss to veteran fighter Diana Fernandez south of the border in November of last year. Diana was too experienced for young Nayeli. That's all right. I first saw Nayeli Rodriguez in action on an MVP show opposite the ring unbeaten at Dove, and I was very much impressed with what I saw. Power went to Natalie Dove, whereas boxing acumen and movement, I gave that to Nayeli Rodriguez, an impressive fighter that comes from a good amateur background, still making her bones in the paid ranks. With King's Promotions behind her, she can fight on a regular schedule and not be out there in the wilderness, subject to the elements. The landscape in America for boxing right now is a tumultuous one, and King's Promotions can provide her the stability that a lot of other fighters don't have right now. They've already got her a fight date, March 13th, against an opponent that is yet to be announced, at the County Coliseum in El Paso, Texas. Scheduled for 8 rounds in the women's flyweight division. Flyweight, that is where Gabby Fundora currently reigns as that division's undisputed champion. That is where this contest is taking place. Needless to say that with a record of 6-1-1, I don't think Nayeli's close to fighting for an alphabet title at this time. It'll be a while before she's in position, but by the time she is, Gabby Fundora may have moved up. The belts may get redistributed, and a new crop of champions may sprout from the earth. Nayeli Rodriguez might be one among them. I see a champion in this fighter. Still young, only 24 years old, with her entire career ahead of her. Plenty of time to rebuild, regroup, and get back on the saddle. I look forward to seeing more from Nayeli Rodriguez now that King's Promotions is behind her and will help to keep her busy in the coming calendar year. We'll talk more about the fight as the fight date approaches and we find out who it is she's going to be fighting. Men's cruiserweight news, Gilberto Ramirez will forego tune-up and head straight into David Benavidez fight. Assuming that fight happens. Gilberto Ramirez is confident that he is as ready as he will ever be for arguably the most notable fight of his career. Boxing Scene has confirmed that the unified WBA/WBO cruiserweight champion will forego a once-planned tune-up fight and head straight into his mouth-watering showdown with David Benavidez. The two will meet on May 2nd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Ramirez, 48-1, was once tabbed to appear on the Golden Boy Promotions card that just aired on DAZN last Friday from Acrisure Arena in Palm Springs, California. However, targeted challenger Robin Sirwan Safar was unable to proceed with the bout due to a knuckle injury that wouldn't heal in time to push forward with the date. Safar, 19-0 with 13 KOs, was hopeful of rescheduling the bout. The ideal placement would have been on the undercard of the February 21st Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia WBC welterweight title fight in Vegas. However, in addition to the Barrios-Garcia event, now belonging to Turki El Al-Sheikh, instead of PBC and Golden Boy, the window of opportunity passed as Ramirez is no longer interested in an in-ring rust shaker. Truly honored to defend my WBA and WBO titles and present Mexico on Cinco de Mayo weekend. Represent Mexico on Cinco de Mayo weekend in Las Vegas, Ramirez said of the opportunity. Ramirez will attempt his third overall cruiserweight title defense and his second as a unified champion. He won the WBA title in a match in 2024, a unanimous decision win over unbeaten Arsen Goulamarian. He then wrapped up the year with a competitive but clear win over then-champion Chris Smith for the WBO. Both belts were at stake in Ramirez's unanimous decision win over two-time cruiserweight champion and mandatory challenger Yuniel Dorticos last June 28th in Anaheim, California. There were talks of Ramirez facing lineal Ring Magazine and IBF champion Jai Opetaia in the second half of last year, but Ramirez was benched for the rest of the year after undergoing shoulder surgery in July. You can call me a conspiracy theorist if you want to, but I don't actually believe that Zurdo was injured. A part of me doesn't even believe he had surgery. A part of me feels that all of it happened at the right time for him to not fight Jai Opetaia, and now he's pretending he doesn't even know who the man is. Said he never heard of the guy before? Something like that? How convenient. Ramirez previously held the WBO super middleweight title for more than 2 years before he moved up to light heavyweight in 2019. His bid to win a title at the weight ended in a November 2022 defeat to Dimitri Bivol for his WBA title, the lone blemish on Zurdo's otherwise stellar record. Benavidez, 31-0 with 25 KOs, will aim to become a three-weight world champion. The former two-time WBC super middleweight title holder added the WBC light heavyweight title to his collection last year. It came by default as he was upgraded from interim champion after Bivol refused to move forward with their ordered title consolidation bout. One defense followed, a one-sided 7th-round knockout of Anthony Yard last November in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Benavidez revealed during the post-fight interview that rather than wait on whoever they put in front of him, he decided to once again let his nuts hang and chase after a showdown 25 pounds north of light heavyweight. Regardless of the outcome, Benavidez will be one and done at the weight. In the opposite direction, the naturally bigger Ramirez has aspirations of becoming the first fighter born in Mexico to win a heavyweight title. Wait a minute, go back. Benavidez will be one and done at the weight, meaning what? That if he beats Zurdo Ramirez, he's gonna drop back down to light heavy?
Yeah, fucking right.
If he wins those 2 alphabet titles from Zurdo, and I think that he's going to, he's gonna stay put. He's going to stay right there, and what he's going to do right after that is call out Dimitri Bivol and call out Artur Beterbiev to move up to cruiserweight. That's what I think, and Zurdo potentially moving up to try and make history to become Mexico's first Mexican-born heavyweight champion. Sorry, but that's not going to happen. This guy don't win a title from nobody in the heavyweight division. Not Fabio Wortley, not Alexander Usyk or Agit Kabayel when the time comes. I don't see it. I don't begrudge him his ambition. Sorry, but that's not gonna happen. Maybe Zurdo can try to win a title at bridgerweight, where the gene pool is a lot more shallow. Perhaps. I like David Benavidez to win the fight because of his hand speed and combinations and aggressiveness. I do think he's a bit more explosive than Zurdo, who's been durable up until this point. I've never seen him knocked down, and I know that he's never been knocked out. But I also know that to the eye, he doesn't look as fast as David Benavidez. Speed is an advantage that Zurdo has benefited from since moving up to cruiser, because he's noticeably faster than those career cruiserweights like Arsen Goulamarian, like Chris Smith. Zurdo is faster than them, and I think David is faster than Zurdo. Speed's a ticket. Speed is going to make all the difference. I got David winning the fight. I don't know that he stops Zurdo Ramirez, but I do think he beats him. Assuming this fight even happens, because there's an off chance that it might not. What has come out from Virgil Ortiz's recent lawsuit against Golden Boy Promotions is that Golden Boy at this time does not have a broadcast partner. DAZN has not extended a deal with them, and so what if they don't? The story for weeks now was that DAZN was applying a lot of pressure on Golden Boy Promotions to make a fight between Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis, which we all know isn't about to happen. Not delivering that fight and a poor content offering over the years might be enough that DAZN doesn't renew, so that if they don't, who promotes the fight between Zurdo and David? I would say PBC on Prime, but PBC on Prime don't have any fights on the schedule, and most of the PBC fighters that are fighting on other people's shows, not their own. Is it possible the PBC on Prime deal ended? It's entirely possible because it's been about 2 years since they went into that deal. I didn't get the impression that it was a long-term commitment. Long-term deal. When the Fox deal ended, they didn't shout it from the rooftops and throw a ticker tape parade to let everybody know they were going their separate ways. When the Fox deal ended, it ended quietly. With a whimper. So who's to say the PBC on Prime deal doesn't go out with a whimper? They don't need to announce that it's over. If it's over, and it might be, because like I said, they don't have anything on schedule for this month, the next one, or any month after that. That being said, I don't get the impression that PBC on Prime would be the distributor for Benavidez versus Zurdo. It feels like it would have to be Golden Boy, who up until recently I thought was on stable ground via their deal with DAZN. I hadn't realized that the deal already ended. So what if DAZN doesn't renew? What happens to this fight? Why wouldn't DAZN renew? Why do you keep asking that question? It's because the content offering from Golden Boy to DAZN has been weak. It's the biggest fight Golden Boy Promotions delivered that platform. And look at Oscar's fractured relationship with what are supposed to be his fighters. Look at how their relationship with Canelo ended, and how the relationship with Virgil might end. And bear in mind that Ryan Garcia wants to leave too. DAZN is fully aware. They've got to be asking themselves, if we re-up with Golden Boy Promotions, what are we getting for our money? So at the risk of being the harbinger of bad news, I think the question needs to be asked. What if DAZN doesn't re-up with Golden Boy? What happens to the Benavidez versus Zurdo fight? Because I was under the impression they were the ones that were going to promote it. I don't know.
See, guys, had I not been in Australia last week, I wouldn't have this opinion. You see, like,
Please.
I would have been just as shocked as you if I had not been in Australia. You know what's crazy about the fact that I was in Australia?
I'm actually not surprised by it.
Not knowing what I know, I'm not surprised by it. I would have been surprised had I not known what I know.
Right.
I was told by several people in Australia all last week, like, Opetaia's crazy. Like, he fights for, like, 150 grand a fight. Like, he just doesn't know any better. Like, he's got like these management and whatever. And I don't know if management is actually taking his money or if this is just what he's getting, all this other stuff. And they were like, he's just like kind of a happy-go-lucky guy. He likes to fight and just like,
wow.
And I was like, whoa. I was like, I would have thought, like, you know,
yeah, I would have thought he would have been
make him a lot more. Or if he's not, he'd be complaining and vocal about it. But he's just like that kind of guy, you know? And, you know, some other things that were told to me. But in the grand scheme of things, then the Zuffa thing comes out and they signed him. Of course they signed him. I mean, even by normal standards, the Zuffa contract to him looks like real money. Even though for a guy like him, it shouldn't be real money. It should be something he laughs at. But, yeah, so it's not that big of a coup to grab Opetaia once I found out what I found out. Because then I find out that, coincidentally, then you have this announcement that these guys signed him. No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, of course, that's an easy one to pick up, and it looks like a bigger deal than it actually is. But when you look between the numbers, like, you know what? You know, it's a good look for Opetaia compared to what he was making. But Opetaia should have been making a lot more money before already, you know, and he should have been laughing at this contract.
The long and the short of it is Paulie Malignaggi heard Jai Opetaia doesn't make that much anyway, making it easy for Zuffa to pick him up. In effect, it's not that big a deal. To which veteran content creator and friend of the channel, D Styles, responded, like clockwork. Does Paulie know how much Jai is getting from Zuffa? No. Paulie talks about what fighters should be making without really explaining why. He talks like all these fighters should be making millions without breaking it down. All of a sudden, he's realized this fighter from Australia is underpaid, right? Ask the fighters. All the guys are underpaid. Because he's just that type of guy, and he heard stuff. Paulie won't criticize Matchroom and Tasman for what they've been paying. If Zuffa's offer works for him, what is it to Paulie? Not all fighters make millions. Paulie talks about it like making millions is a given. I agree with everything, literally everything D Styles said. If I take what Paulie Malignaggi claims to have heard at face value, which I don't. But for argument's sake, let's say that I do. Why is Jai Opetaia supposed to make more? Based on what quantifiable metrics? You're claiming that he was underpaid at Matchroom and at Tasman. That's what you're saying. Why was he supposed to get more? Based on what? He never said. And that's if I even believe that he was underpaid, because I don't think he was. You're not going to convince me that Matchroom, who has no reputation of shorting fighters' money, was shorting Jai Opetaia. Jai Opetaia, who made not one, not two, but 3 separate Riyadh season appearances. And you want me to believe that he was underpaid by Matchroom and he was underpaid by Turkey. What? I don't know if I can believe that. What I can believe is that the people at Boxing Scene, which is owned by Gary Jonas of ProBox, have been taking shots at Zuffa. And this would seem another vehicle to continue to take shots at Zuffa. That even though they signed Jai Opetaia, they aren't paying him much. That's basically what Paulie is saying. But how do you know what they're paying him? Because you talked to a guy who talked to a guy? D. Styles continued. So before Zuffa is even in the picture, Jai didn't get paid for his first dozen fights. He isn't making money with Tasman. He was promoted by Matchroom. This whole time guys like Paulie had nothing to say, but the moment Zuffa makes Jai an offer that he likes, better than Matchroom's, all of a sudden Paulie and boxing defenders of status quo care about Jai and what he should be making. I think I understand what these Styles are saying. He's basically saying that the guys at ProBox have been some of the main ones talking about how Dana White underpays the UFC guys, and now he's gonna underpay the boxers. That's why he wants to change the Muhammad Ali Act. But these same guys at ProBox are now saying that Jai Opetaia was already being underpaid, all without Zuffa. So if that's the case, shouldn't you have more to say about Tasman for underpaying him, and Turkey for underpaying him, and Matchroom for underpaying him, if he was in fact underpaid? Instead, you're still harping about Zuffa. Zuffa, who seems to have offered Jai more than the guys who were underpaying him. It's almost like you're trying to rationalize a way to keep talking down Zuffa. Understand that the conversation we're now having exists in a very abstract space based on things that may not even be true. Maybe somebody told Paulie that Jai's being underpaid, but that doesn't make it true. And maybe Zuffa Boxing is going to put a cap on how much they pay these fighters, but that doesn't mean they're going to pay them peanuts. Because they're being responsible with their budget and they're not hemorrhaging money to every self-entitled fighter? Seems to be what the fighters expect. And naturally, a group of retired fighters think there's something wrong with that. You say that you heard that Jai was underpaid. Well, what would you have paid him that would have made sense? The way I see it, we don't know that any of this is true. The only thing that seems true is whatever Zuffa offered Jai must have been more than he stood to make at Matchroom. Otherwise, he would have stayed at Matchroom. So maybe, just maybe, Zuffa is kicking out respectable purses, but your idea of respectable and theirs are miles apart. The only thing that matters is that Jai thought it was respectable. Respectable enough that he left Matchroom for Zuffa.